Hello everyone, welcome back to The Pressing Matters. I'm Scott, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the label Harmonia Mundi. Before I get to that, if you are new, please consider subscribing, hit subscribe and notification, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. So I became aware of this label back in probably the late 80s through the Absolute Sound. The Absolute Sound had listed one of their titles on their super disc list, and I never saw it in the wild. It's called La Folia. And the other source that made me aware of this label was Arthur Salvatore's pioneering website called High End Audio. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. He's done extensive research, especially in the recordings area of the website, where he has something similar to the Absolute Sound Super Disc list, but on steroids. It's like so extensive and much more knowledgeable selections, I would say. Just an incredible resource. It's called the Supreme Recordings, High End Audio, Arthur Salvatore. Check it out. So he in that website, he goes on quite a bit about Harmonia Mundi and how the recordings are some of the best ever made. So that piqued my interest and prompted me to search out and pick up the recordings. And I have several that I'm going to look at today. They are medieval music. So they do have somewhat limited appeal to most people. But for audiophiles, there's something here for you, and I think it's worth exploring, especially if you are already into classical music and you want to explore a little bit further. This is a good route to go. They are not rare, but they are not common. You can find them through specialty dealers for, $35 so maybe. So they're not expensive when you do find them, but you have to look. So the first one I was going to talk about, and forgive me with some of the pronunciations here because a lot of them are in French or German. This is the Ancient Danses of Hungary by Rene Clemencic, and the Clemencic Consort. All their releases come in beautiful gatefolds with a lot of information. These are Ancient Dances of Hungary and Transylvania. This was recorded in 1978, and it's an all analog recording, of course. Some of the instruments on it are violin, viola, flutes, cornet, clarinet, trombone, bombard, which I don't know what that is, timbales, tambour, tympanon, and cymbales. So quite a nice assortment of early instruments, and the sound is ravishing. It really is. I mean, Arthur Salvatore was right about these records. They are some of the best recorded sound I've ever heard. The space in which they're recorded is always very evident. It's almost a part, it's like a feature of the record is the space, and that's really cool. The music are, like I said, dances, but kind of based on folk music from that area, from the 1600s. So it's an acquired taste, but definitely well worth checking out. The second release that I wanted to discuss is called tarantulle-tarantelle. And again, it's in a nice gatefold. A lot of information about the instruments on the rear. This is by Gregorio Paniagua in the ATRIUM MUSICAE de Madrid. This is an interesting story behind this album. A lot of these have interesting stories behind them, as you'll see. But this is subtitled in the centerfold, Musicotherapie Traditionnelle. Musical therapy. And the reason that is because this music and these dances were performed to help heal and prevent diseases emanating from tarantula bites. Is basically what I got from the text inside. The doctors in those days, the 1600s, did not have access to the scientific methods we have, and if someone was experiencing mental problems or some physical ailments, and they had been around a spider recently, especially a tarantula, they attributed their ailment to the tarantula bite. So these were all specially prepared musical works to help to heal that person. And part of the healing process was dancing like a crazy person. And that's what I gathered from this. The music itself doesn't sound crazy or anything like that. It sounds like medieval music, medieval dances, and I found it very interesting and very pleasant. The recording was done in 76. No location listed, but again, the sound of the venue is very apparent, and I think the engineers for this label really take care to place to pick a venue that is appropriate for this music. Maybe a cathedral. They're not like big halls, they're like cathedrals or, churches, stuff like that. So you really get a nice resonant sound. The instruments are beautifully recorded. There's a lot of space around the instruments. And I find it fascinating from beginning to end. I thought that record was really interesting as well. Actually, I want to cover this one next. This one is called lafetedel'ane, which translates to the Feast of the Ass. And it's by the same forces as the first record I showed you, Rene Clemencic and the Clemencic Consort. And this was recorded in 1979. And the engineer is listed here, Jean-Francois Pontefract. Okay. My French is not that good. But anyway, in this one, there are vocals as well. It's the story behind this one is they are recreated what's called the Feast of the Ass, and that is from the 1600s as well. The common folk at the time were heavily immersed in the religious idiom, and once a year they were allowed to let off steam and perform these bawdy and kind of sacrilegious kind of songs and do them in a crazy manner, I guess. It sounds like insane people having a party uh, in a religious context. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I don't know if I can really ever explain what it sounds like, but it's really interesting. Definitely worth checking out. The sound was really good. You know, you kind of go into it expecting medieval church hymns or something, and it sounds like that, and then all of a sudden you get someone squawking and making crazy noises and stuff like that. So there's a sense of humor in all of this. So that's another interesting one. It is recorded in 1980, and no location listed again. Okay. Then the one I spoke about at the beginning of the video, La Folia. This is it. This is probably the most accessible of all of these. This is by Gregorio Paniagua, and he has reconstructed Spanish folias, and they are dances, and it's done all with a sense of humor. There's various things on here that you wouldn't expect to hear, like a chainsaw and a whip, stuff like that. Whip crack. Just crazy stuff, but done in the medieval kind of style. So the sound is fantastic on this one. If there's anyone that's accessible and the sound is fantastic and you will probably adore, it's that one, La Folia. This was reissued by Speaker's Corner, and I don't know how that one turned out, but the original is fantastic. Really, really good record. The last one is actually a digital recording. All the other ones are analog. Oh, La Folia, by the way, is 1980. Again, Jean-Francois Pontefract recorded that. This is from Harmonia Mundi, Germany, and it is a digital recording. It's called Mythomania by Baren, Gasslen. And this one is very interesting too. All of these have kind of strange tales. Tarantulas, feasts of the ass. And this one is like ghosts and goblins and things like that. There's no weird sound effects or anything like that, but it's very kind of gothic sounding. It's medieval. The songs are traditional or adapted from traditional sources, German, Scottish, and other sources. And it's vocal. It's vocal. There's songs that are sung by Isabella Ernst and Michael Korth. And some of the instruments on here are lute, percussion, flute, voice, mandolin, bagpipe, chant, viola da gamba. Very interesting record as well. The sound is just as good as all the analog ones. Fascinating. A fascinating record. I love this one too. Matter of fact, my two favorites are probably La Folia and Mythomania. So, if you are in the mood for something adventurous and you've never experienced a Harmonia Mundi record and you want to get something that sounds amazing, definitely check out one of these records. I think you'll enjoy them. I certainly did. And I pulled them out for this review and kind of went through them again, and they're great. They're great records. Wonderful sound, very interesting content, and something I think you'll enjoy a lot. So thank you for tuning into this segment of the Pressing Matters. Thank you and have a great day.